Reacher just cast a major new villain for Season 3, and this is what you should expect. Since debuting in 2022, Reacher has swiftly become one of Prime Video's most popular original series. And while the second season, based on Bad Luck and Trouble, didn't appease fans as much as the first, based on the first novel, Killing Floor, it's debatable whether that book was the right choice to adapt, especially so early in the series' run. But for the most part, the series is more true to Lee Child's, and now Andrew Child's as well, books than both of the Tom Cruise-led films combined. A big part of that is the casting of the hulking Alan Ritchson as the title character, as Reacher's physicality is a big part of what ensures his success in the books. But of course, former MP Reacher is as good at investigating as he is beating folks up, and the third season looks highly likely to get back to that perfect mix of elements. Why? Because Ritchson has recently announced that Persuader, the seventh novel, and a fan favorite for good reason, will be the inspiration for the third go-round. And now the remainder of the cast looks to be lining up, with one big addition in particular being announced. And frankly, he's a perfect choice. Ritchson will play Jack Reacher for a long time, according to Amazon executive Jennifer Salk, and that's believable given the perfection of the casting and the vast number of books to adapt. Some are more adaptable as entertaining seasons of television than others, and fortunately for Season 3, Persuader is absolutely one of those. Persuader was written in the first person, which could be said of Killing Floor as well, but not the 5 books in between the two. The first-person books retain the action and tension-building elements that buoy the third-person ones, but allow for the central characters fleshing out just a bit more. The 7th book, like the majority of the remainder, has Reacher sort of just wandering into a big conspiracy, but this time, he, unofficially, has the DEA by his side. Or rather, he's by theirs. The plan is to stage the kidnapping of drug runner Beck's son, and then have Reacher infiltrate Beck's organization, but after initiating the kidnapping, they learn the drug runner actually isn't under the DEA's purview. Not to mention, he's not quite the head of the snake that all had figured him to be. Instead, the real top dog is Francis Xavier Quinn, a particularly troublesome former cohort from Reacher's military past. But to get to Quinn, Reacher must become buddy-buddy with Beck. To do that, he will first have to get Quinn's vicious employees off Beck's back. This is particularly true of bodyguard Paul Massarella. Who is Polly in the Persuader novel? If Ritchson ever plays Batman like he wants to, Polly would be his bane. Polly is supposedly a bodyguard for Beck and his expansive estate, but he's really just on Quinn's side. And instead of guarding any bodies, he's mostly just interested in the body of Beck's wife. Reacher goes through a few of Quinn's employees in Persuader, but Polly is the biggest adversary in more ways than one. His presence is heavily felt even when he's not on the page, and given the first-person telling of the story, Reacher himself acknowledges that the man's size is intimidating. As Child wrote in the book, Polly is at least 6 inches taller than the protagonist and probably 10 inches wider across the shoulders. All in all, Reacher figures Polly outweighs him by 200 pounds. Maybe by more. Given Reacher's already formidable size, the sadistic Polly is a mountain of a man. In the ever-expanding universe of Amazon Prime Video's Reacher, the anticipation for Season 3 has reached a fever pitch, particularly with the introduction of formidable new adversaries set to challenge Jack Reacher like never before. This season, based on Lee Child's 2003 novel Persuader, promises to elevate the stakes, bringing in characters whose presence will test Reacher's physical and mental prowess. Olivia Richter's as Polly, a colossal challenge. One of the most talked about additions to the cast is Olivia Richter's, known in the bodybuilding world as the Dutch Giant. Standing at an imposing 7 feet 2 inches and weighing nearly 350 pounds, Richter's brings an unparalleled physical presence to the screen. He portrays Polly, a character described in the novels as a deranged bodybuilder bodyguard, serving as the muscle for the season's primary antagonist, Zachary Beck. Richter's casting addresses a notable critique from Season 2, where fans felt that Reacher's adversaries lacked the physicality to pose a genuine threat. With Richter's Polly, this concern is thoroughly mitigated. The sheer size and strength he brings to the role ensure that confrontations between Reacher and Polly will be intense and unpredictable, pushing Reacher to his limits. This dynamic not only promises thrilling action sequences, but also adds a layer of vulnerability to Reacher, making his battles more compelling. Anthony Michael Hall as Zachary Beck, a sinister transformation. Adding depth to the villainous lineup is Anthony Michael Hall, an actor renowned for his iconic roles in 1980s classics like The Breakfast Club and 16 Candles. In Reacher Season 3, Hall undergoes a dramatic transformation to embody Zachary Beck, a shady businessman entangled in illicit activities. This casting choice has intrigued fans, as Hall's portrayal marks a significant departure from his previous sweet roles, showcasing his versatility as he delves into the darker facets of Beck's character. Beck's character is central to the narrative of Persuader, where Reacher teams up with the D to dismantle a smuggling ring. Hall's ability to infuse complexity into Beck ensures that viewers will be treated to a multifaceted villain, one whose motivations and actions are as compelling as they are nefarious. This depth adds richness to the storyline, providing a worthy adversary for Reacher. Brian T. as Francis Xavier Quinn, resurrecting a ghost from the past. Another significant casting is Brian T. as Francis Xavier Quinn, a character who brings a personal vendetta into Reacher's mission. Quinn is a treasonous antagonist with ties to Reacher's past, adding layers of tension and history to the unfolding drama. T's portrayal is expected to bring a nuanced performance that intertwines personal stakes with the broader narrative of crime and justice. What to expect? High-octane action and deepening mysteries. With these formidable villains, Season 3 of Reacher is poised to deliver high-octane action sequences that challenge the titular character both physically and mentally. The inclusion of a towering adversary like Polly ensures that fight scenes will be more brutal and hard-fought, moving away from the one-sided confrontations of previous seasons. This shift not only heightens the excitement but also humanizes Reacher, showcasing his resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. The narrative is expected to delve deeper into Reacher's past, especially with the reintroduction of Quinn, a ghost from his history. This personal connection adds emotional weight to Reacher's mission, intertwining his quest for justice with a desire for personal closure. Such depth ensures that the season is not just about physical confrontations, but also about the psychological battles that Reacher must face. A stellar ensemble cast enhancing the storytelling. The casting choices for Season 3 extend beyond the villains, with a stellar ensemble that enriches the storytelling. Maria Sten returns as Frances Neagley, Reacher's former military colleague and a savvy private investigator. Her dynamic with Reacher adds camaraderie and strategic depth to the plot. New additions like Johnny Berchtold as Richard Beck, Zachary's traumatized son, and Sonia Cassidy as DEA agent Susan Duffy bring fresh perspectives and complexities to the narrative. Anticipation builds towards the premiere. As the premiere date of February 20, 2025 approaches, excitement among fans continues to build. The trailers have teased intense confrontations, particularly highlighting the clash between Reacher and Polly. The visual of Reacher facing an opponent who dwarfs him in size is both thrilling and daunting, setting the stage for a season filled with suspense and adrenaline-pumping action. In conclusion, the casting of Olivier Richters as Polly, alongside Anthony Michael Hall's transformation into Zachary Beck and Brian T's portrayal of Francis Xavier Quinn, signifies a bold and exciting direction for Reacher Season 3. These characters are set to challenge Jack,